Hello class, this is your teacher and we are going to talk about the secondary and tertiary sector in Spain. This is the last chapter of this unit, so remember that the first thing that you have to write is the title of the chapter 3, secondary and tertiary sector in Spain. This is the last one of the unit, the economy, that we started almost 2 weeks ago, so it's time to finish. So now we are going to talk, guys, about these two sectors. We already know the primary sector studies secondary and tertiary, specifically in Spain. Now we are going to focus first in secondary sector. And secondary sector, remember, is the sector that is going to transform, is going to manufacture things, it's going to take materials and transform that into something that we can use. In Spain, 22%, it means 22 of every 100 people, work in the secondary sector. This is not very easy to understand, so I'm going to make an example. So let's imagine that these people, all these people, is the entire population of Spain. Okay, I know there are more population in Spain. This is just an example. Imagine, use your imagination, and think that this is the population of Spain. If it could be the population, if this could be the population of Spain, we could have one of them, this guy probably, working in the primary sector, because the primary sector we saw the other day that was only 5% for 5% of the population working there, for 4 or 5% of the jobs. So in Spain, the secondary sector is the 22%, so it means that it's more or less 4 people all of this. So we have all this population, so only these 4 is working in industry. So it's a lot more than primary sector, but this is still less than the entire active population that we have in our country. It's a very important sector, but it's not the most important. So let's see what these people do. People that is working in the secondary sector, they are especially doing 2 activities. First of them, construction. It means that they are designing or constructing buildings and public works like bridges or roads. So everybody that is working, building anything, is working in the secondary sector. Think, for example, in the houses that they are building just in front of our school. We can see them from our windows every day. So all these people that is working building these white and black houses in front of the school, they are working in the secondary sector. Also, the designers, the architects that designed those houses. So the other activity, that is in the secondary sector is the industry, and the industry are jobs which transform raw materials into manufactured products. So it means that everybody that takes raw material, remember, raw material means materias primas. If I take, aluminium, iron, and I transform that into a car, for example, I'm working in the industry. So I'm working in the secondary sector. So 2 things that I need to know about this activity, the industry. First is that the main industries in Spain are food, metallurgy, equipment, and machinery. So food, what are we doing with the food? You can manufacture food. You can take a product from the primary sector, for example, tuna fish, and transform it, put it into a can, en una lata, and sell it, manufacture it. So it's also, when you are doing this activity, to take the raw material and to make a product with that, something that you can buy or sell, you are also making an industry. So metallurgy is all the industry related with metal. So any activity, any industry, any factory that is working with metals, is part of or transforming metals, is metallurgy, and equipment and machinery are also 2 very important industries in our country. So the other thing that we need to know about this activity is that the most important autonomous community, the highest number of jobs in industry are in Spain are in Catalonia. So they have a tradition from the Industrial Revolution hundreds of years ago. So this is a long time ago that they have this tradition to have industry in their autonomous community. So they have more people than the rest of Spain working in industry. There are factories of cars, there are factories of food, there are several factories, brands working there. That means that Catalonia is the autonomous community with the highest industry in our country. So, now that we understand the secondary sector, let's talk about the tertiary sector. That includes all the jobs that are not in the other two. Remember, primary sector to produce, to take resources from the environment, for example, a fisher, a miner, etc. Second sector is to transform raw materials into products, and the tertiary sectors are the rest of the jobs. It includes all the jobs which do not produce products but provide services. So you are not selling anything, you are not selling a product, you are selling your time. Okay? So 74% of the Spanish population work in the tertiary sector. So in this diagram, remember, this was the population of Spain. It means all these blue people would work in the tertiary sector in Spain. Really is by far the biggest sector in Spain, talking about jobs. So let's see what type of jobs we are going to find in the tertiary sector. We have, for example, education. I'm a worker. I am a teacher, so I am a worker in the tertiary sector. Healthcare, doctors, nurses, surgeons, everybody that work in healthcare is part of the tertiary sector. Finance, people that work in banks, that make investments, take the money and try to make more money investing in some companies or in others. This is also part of the tertiary sector. Oh, education is twice. This is a mistake. Don't worry about that. Here we were talking about administration. Everybody that work organizing people, taking papers, helping you when you tried to make your ID card. All these people, this is administration. This is a mistake. Sorry, not education twice. Is also part of the third service. All the public workers, funcionarios, are part of the tertiary sector too. Also, trade. To trade is to buy and to sell things. Everybody that buy or sell things are working in trade and are part of the tertiary sectors. Tourism, of course. Everything that a tourist is somebody that visits your country or your city. Everything that is related with the needs, the things that this tourist needs, are part of the tourism activity. And finally, guys, transport, to move products or people from one place to another. So we have a lot of activities related with the tertiary sector. There are a lot of them, and as you see in Spain, are very, very important, by far the most important sector. Now we are going to focus on three that are very, very important for Spain: trade, tourism, and transport. Let's start with trade. As I said before, trade is the buying or selling of products, and we can difference between two types of trade. First, domestic trade, that is when you buy or sell, just to buy or to sell products within a country. So if you are buying or selling things in Spain, or in your city, for example, when you are buying or selling a product in your city, you are making domestic trade. The other type would be foreign trade. It means that you are buying or selling products but to other countries. So imagine that you have a farm, when you have cows and you produce milk. If you are selling your milk to the supermarket that is in the city, you are doing domestic trade. If I make, I don't know, shoes or a computer, I'm making computers and I sell these computers to another country because they are really good and people from other countries want to buy them, in that case I'm doing foreign trade. This foreign should be in yellow. I will change it later. So we are going to find two types of foreign trade. On one side we have exports. Exports is when you sell to other countries, when you produce in your country and you sell this product to other countries. In Spain, we, for example, export shoes and cars. We are also very famous for our primary sector products. We are very good selling primary sector products, for example, wine, olive oil, etc. The other type of foreign trade that we have is imports. Is when you buy the products from another country. For example, in Spain we import petroleum because we don't have it here, and computers because we don't produce it here, so we have to buy them from other countries. So this is everything that we need to know about trade. Let's pass about the transport. Transport is when we need people or products from one place to the other, and we can difference between land transport, is the transport that we are doing by railways or motorways, so basically by trucks, this is a truck, or by train. We have sea transport. I don't know if you have seen anytime these huge ships that they are called cargo ships, and they transport this cargo, these huge cargoes that they can travel from one place to another from the world. So basically, every time that you buy a product, especially technological products, all your iPads, all the iPads that you are using right now are coming probably from China, and they come in one of these cargo ships. They just cross the entire ocean until they reach in the Spanish ports. The most important Spanish ports are Algeciras, Barcelona, and Valencia. Most of the things that we take from the sea, from other countries, are coming to these three ports. And finally, guys, we have air transport. It's also very important. Probably not that common than the sea transport because it's more expensive. It's really cheaper to transport things through that cargo ship than through the plane, but it's also important, and some products are transported by air, especially those ones that they have to be transported very fast. So the busiest airport in Spain is Adolfo Suárez in Madrid Barajas, is the airport of Madrid. Also, of course, we need to know that the air transport is very important to transport passengers, to transport people from one place to another. It's the main transport that we use to large distances. When we want to travel to a place that is very far away, the air transport is by far the most common of the three. So, to finish with that, let's talk about tourism. And when we talk about tourism, we are talking about everything that a tourist needs. So, hotels, travel agent. A travel agent is the people that organize your trip. Guides. The guides are the people who take you to a place and see you and show you everything that is important to the place, from the place that you are visiting. Restaurants, etc. All those things that take care of the tourism are included in this concept of tourism. So, in Spain, this is a basic factor, basic economical activity. Spain is the third most visited country in the world. The most popular tourism that we have in our country is the beach tourism. Most of the tourists go to the coast because they like our weather and our beaches, but cultural tourism is increasing. For example, Madrid is nowadays one of the most visited cities in the world, and we don't have beach, so they come for our cultural activities, etc. So as you can imagine, with this situation that we are having now with the coronavirus, the tourism is stopping. So this is a big problem for Spain. So we hope that this recovers soon, because in Spain, 12 of every 100 people work in tourism. That's a lot. So imagine we have three times more people working in tourism in Spain, only in tourism, than in the entire primary sector, for example. So it's a very important sector. A lot of people work in this sector, and we need that it works well. It's basic for our country. So this is everything that we have to do to tell you about this chapter. Then I think that you are ready to make the activities. Don't forget that you can make me any question that you have using the ways of communication that we have: email, classroom, etc. See you later.